going to be a quick, short, and sweet. I wanted to keep it very high level. This is what we did was a introduction to kids about ham radio. We started off with something very simple, but something attractive to them. And this is talking about connecting to the space station. We did this in March 2020, just before COVID hit. It took about 2 hours in total. We did it very hands-on. We gave a 15-minute presentation, an hour and a half hands-on, and thank you very much to everyone in this club who helped, who got on the radio and talked to the kids. The session was held in Gardner at the Masonic Hall. We had 13 kids, 4 parents, 3 teachers. It was also simulcast broadcast live on the local radio station. And the agenda was something actually it was a very short introduction. Then we did a presentation from the Nashua Club with their permission of the low Earth orbit video, and then a connection with the International Space Station. Around the hall, we had 7 live exhibit stations, and that was really, really well received. And at the end of the presentation, we handed each kid a piece of paper. And they had to go around to all of the stations that were live and try and make a contact. And the more contacts they had, they won a prize. Worked out really well. In a nutshell, what we got, we've got 11 kids, 3 parents, and 1 teacher who have signed up for a tech in a day and are willing to take their test. Upon completing of their test, we're going to give them, the Masons, are going to give them a Bofang 2-meter radio so that they can get on the air right away. It'll be pre-programmed, hands-on, and everything else. It went over so well without us knowing about it. The Masonic Lodge down in Boston, which is a 8-story building, and the Masonic Lodge in Worcester have also given us the time if we would like to do something similar. And if you'll hear about this in a minute, but they're also willing to allow us to put antennas on the roof, including if we do get our satellite station up and running, they'll allow us to put it up there. They will help do the advertising to the general community. And this is for introducing kids and things of that nature. We were also approached just before COVID hit by Children's Hospital in Boston. And I spoke as well to Children's Hospital in California, and they would like to have set up a, if you would, relay station between the 2 hospitals so kids could talk to each other over DMR and or satellite or whatever we can accomplish. If we can do it over HF, they would think that would be great. And I gave them the concept that Herb came up with, was a radio that you would talk to an HT, and that would relay to another location. Or we could do it via like a remote controlled, like RC fob type thing. Children's hospitals, both of them thought this was an absolutely fantastic idea to help break the monotony of some of the kids who are stuck in the hospital.
I'll split that with you, the spaghetti, if you want.
I'm sorry? Oh. Okay, well, I'll keep going. What was of most interest to the kids was the hands-on. They loved the idea of doing a tape measure antenna. I then stole Greg's idea, and we made some 2-meter antennas, like the one on the right-hand side. I did take a couple of anytones And while we were there, afterwards, after we made the antennas, it allowed them to get on the air. And that was I hate to say it and pardon the French, but the shit-eating grin on these kids' face was unbelievable. They want to take the test. Herb did a fantastic job talking about Echo or DMR. We had some Echolink set up, but nobody was on it. We did do a tape measure antenna. And they thought that was really cool because quite a few of them are with scouting. And I gave them a fox, and one of the scoutmasters hid the fox. And then they had to go find it using the tape measure antenna. That was unbelievably good. They liked the kits doing these things. This was cheap, easy, fun for people, and it kept their interest going. One of the things that a couple of lessons learned. One of them were very good. Keep our wording short. If the explanation to a question takes more than 15 seconds, you're saying it wrong. We got to keep the things interesting and modern for the kids. We don't talk about the cost of equipment. Don't discuss all the old equipment, bringing it new and making it new. We found out you don't say, oh, well, you don't need it for your license, but you really got to learn CW. And the other thing is we can't tell them, scare the daylights out of them. And the couple of kids who said, no, they don't want to do it, is because people got, well, you got to know really good math and you got to know this complex theory to get your tech license. The tech license is meant to get people interested. It's meant to be very simple. So just a couple of things we call fail fast and move forward. And nobody really paid any attention when people said, well, when I got my license back in 1950, who cares? This is a little bit of a layout of what we did, the 7 stations we had. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah, 7. This was in a, Herb, what was it? Probably 50 by 70 foot hall, guessing somewhere in there.
Herb is doing George's Old Timers Net, so he
Oh,
can.
okay.
I'm all set. I'm already concluded with George's.
So
yeah, it was a pretty good sized room.
yeah, and this is kind of how it was laid out. We ran antennas out, coax out the door and up to the roof, and it worked out really well. You know, a lot of the members had joined in to help us and got on when the kids were getting on. We had a couple of kids as well on the radio from, you know, members' kids, and that worked out even better. So what we're doing next is we have a confirmed time to talk to the International Space Station on May 21st of next year. Prior to that, and we have to have this done by January 4th, we have to get a school or a large organization to sponsor it. We had it, but the school system said, well, with COVID now, we can't back that anymore. So we need a school, and that's what they do prefer, is a school, to get behind us. And, you know, we can do this all virtually, but we've got to get somebody to help us, please. There is 4 pre-attempts to contact the ISS. That has to be done before the end of March. 3 of them must be successful. The equipment we're using is an ICOM 910, a Yaesu azimuth elevation recorder, some software called SAT PC32, and a 442 meter horizontally polarized antenna. What we need is someone to please get us to get to a school and to get them to willing to sponsor us and to get their kids active. Need help getting this up and working, getting it over the speed bumps. Right now it's myself who's doing it, and it's quite a learning experience. I have wanted to take that 3-pound fine tuning adjustment wrench and go after the antenna a few times, or my fingers. But anyway, need help getting over the speed bumps. We've got most of the gear. And if anybody's got any laying around circular antennas, that would be great. Because right now we only have vertical or horizontal. We've got the interest if we can keep it going. I did take one slide out. I'm not going to show up because we don't have permission of all the kids. So, any questions?
I think you did a
Make a
real
difference.
fine job.
Well done. Does it make a difference using circular polarization antennas?
It does, because the satellites are spinning in the air.
Of course.
So you're only getting it one way or another, and I'm losing. I did, the space station did go overhead last week. Wasn't great, but I did knock at their door 3 times. I rang the doorbell. I heard the doorbell come back, so I knew it was, we did make connection, but then nobody answered.
Okay, I have an announcement to make then. Tomorrow evening at 8:20 p.m., it will be approaching 33 degrees northeast, departing 10 degrees northeast. It'll be elevation of 79 degrees above northwest, and it will be visible for about 6 minutes.
Wow, it's
We have
almost
clear
overhead.
skies.
Nice.
It's actually visible again tonight at 9:53 p.m. for 6 minutes, but it's only going to be a maximum elevation of about 21 degrees above north.
And we're all clouded in.
So if anybody has any experience or help or some antennas or anything,
Well, I'd be happy to. I'm sorry, I had a small, I missed most of your presentation. I had a small car issue. But if you're talking satellites, I know Bill and I are maybe able to help. I may be able to help a little bit. The circular antennas, we can talk offline. If you have enough gain or preamps on those, you don't need circular antennas. They'll actually be more of a difficult if you're trying to hold it, unless you're trying to do some tracking system.
George, I would love to speak offline because I am totally 100% new at this. And as I said, I have gotten to the point where the 3-pound sledge or the 3-pound fine tuning adjustment wrench.
No worries. Why don't we, we should set up some time, or, we'll get you on the repeater, or, you can call me. We can set up some time.
Thank you very much.
Because I think I may be able to give you direction in the right. Took me about a year to do it, but I'm interested to know, trying to do a handheld, or are you actually trying to do a base station that tracks these satellites?
I've got I'm using my 910H.
No, but are you thinking you want these antennas to be held manually, or
No,
you actually want to build something that actually tracks?
No, we've got a, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a quad pod. Instead of 3, it's 4. With an azimuth elevation router, a Yaesu azimuth elevation router, rotator, whatever you want to call it. And I've got 2 systems, laptops that I'm dedicating just to doing this.
All right, we can definitely talk. I can walk you through at least. Well, I can walk you through at least what I did. Doesn't mean it was great and perfect, but
Hey.
What's your email?
Backhoe Ken, BACKHOEKEN @gmail.
AB1LB is waiting in the lobby.
Ken, this is Adrian. I have an
So you
11
said backhole Ken, BACKHOLEKEN @gmail.com.
Negative. Backhoe, like the piece of construction equipment
Oh, okay. And
with the
then
name
10.
Ken on the end
Perfect.
at Gmail.
Perfect. Okay. Thanks.
Hey, Gil, if you're still there, I guess I can't see him on my.
Yeah, I get it. I get it.
Yeah, this is Adrian. Ken,
Yes.
I have an 11 element 440 circular polarization antenna, a spare one. I have two of them. I used to have a 2 meter also and the whole thing mounted, but I have the two antennas. You can have one. Yes, it's hard to hold it, so it has to be mounted on a crossbar. But if you're going to build an antenna system, this is the one.
Okay, Adrian, I'll take you up on it, and that's perfect.
Ken, did you have an age range that you were trying to target for the schools? Like, would middle school be too young, or are you looking at high schoolers?
No, it can be any of them. We don't. The criteria was any grade. There'll be 5 kids who will be able to talk for the period of time that the satellite's in range, and they are bouncing through 2 different satellites. So our total time is about 10 minutes from acquisition of signal till everything's lost. I don't understand it all, but the total time is right around 10 minutes. They said sometimes you can get to 12 via however they bounce. I'm sorry, I don't know. And as long as we get kids are involved, that's what the real thing is.
Yeah, Ken, the other thing is, are you trying to just do FM satellites, or really you're probably doing sideband satellites, right? That's what you're probably really trying to do.
Right now, we're just something simple to start.
Yeah.
But then the space station has their own, there'll be a whole separate entity, but we'll start with anything we can to get it going.
Yeah, the space station, unfortunately, even though they have FM, they are very rarely listening, or very often they're very silent. All you can get is a beacon from them usually.
Yeah,
Right.
but he's got an appointment set up with them, George.
Oh, I'm sorry. Like I said, I had some car trouble, so I had to run out. Okay.
Yeah.
When is that? Just curious. When is that?
So we got May 21st of 2021.
All right.
And then we've also we have to do we have 4 other times when we have space reserved for them. 3 of them have to be successful. If we don't have those, we lose the spot.
And when are those first, just ballpark?
It has to be done by the end of March.
Okay,
and
so we got some time.
That is correct.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. I got some ideas. I'll reach out to you. You if you're doing the FMs for them, that actually should relatively be straightforward.
Yeah. What I gave them coordinates, and I couldn't think of anything else, so I just picked the old stone church. And then they said, okay, well, you have here, 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 and here is when your times are.
Right.
So I figured that was kind of central for most everything.
Great. No, like I said, have you gotten the free app called on your phone, or most people know that it's called HamSat?
Yes, I do, and I also have SAT PC 32.
Right. That will track everything. So we'll talk later, but yeah, I think I can help you. I can at least tell you in the right direction. We built Connor and I built an entire satellite system on my shed, so and it works most of the time.
Well, what my plan is, once we get this built and just stationary, I was building it in my backyard. I have a small flatbed cart that is registered, And what we're going to do is this way we can move it around. Got 4 little crank down ends, and then we can use it for field day. We can use it for kids, whatever we wanted to do. Something simple, portable to excite people.
Now, and the nice part is you could like bring it up to Mount Wachusett, and then you'll get about a 15, 20-minute pass, because you can probably pick it up around 3 or 4 degrees off the horizon.
I've got access to that 24/7 being a firefighter.
Nice.
Brilliant. I tell you what, I'd love you guys to just to document this, technically what you do. That'll be very nice. I have a
Absolutely.
personal interest in satellite communication. Thank you.
Sweet. And by the way, when we were talking about what we were doing, I didn't mention your son's name, but I did say your son was one of the ones who was talking to the other kids
Yes.
on the
Yeah,
radio.
a lot of fun.
Oh, you should see that we had one kid who was had a little bit of a physical problem, and the smile on his face when he talked to your son was unbelievable, because he's always been told you can't do this, you can't do that, and he did something.
Brilliant.
That's awesome.
It's about the kids.
And as I said, 11 of them want to go get their license. We just have to make it happen after COVID.
It's fantastic.
Good job, Ken.
All right. Great job, Ken.
That and 50 cents to buy a cup of coffee.
Yeah, it's like $1 something these days.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're young. I'm old. I
$5
get the senior discount.
$5 if you go to Starbucks.